Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mariki Saputra and I will present my proposal. The title is an analysis of language style found in Facebook status. First is background of the research. Communication is one of the human activities that everyone recognizes but few can define satisfactorily because the of language style that they use, so people can define satisfactorily. The purpose of communication is social interaction through the message. Communication very important to interact with other people because the human cannot live alone. They need to sharing and help each other. In past, people use body language to communicate. Then, because of development of era, today people use a language to communicate. And in the past too, people people show face to face with others to communicate. But because the development of technology, uh, they can communicate with via letters, telephone, email, chatting, or something like that. And one of them is Facebook. Facebook is one of social network with all over the world user. In Facebook, they can find old friend, make a new friend, seek and share information, share idea, play games, even make an advertisement of sell product. So the identification of the research is analyze the status of the Facebook user to find the type of language style and the recent style used by Facebook user in Indonesia. And focus of this research is uh, this research focus on language style used by Facebook user from researchers' friend Facebook status. The question of the research is what type of language style are used by researchers' friend on Facebook, and the reason of using language style are used by researchers' friend on Facebook. The objective of the research is to find the type of language style that usually used by researchers' friend in status Facebook, and to find the of language style used by researchers' friend in status Facebook. Signification of the research is this study expects to introduce of the style for future readers and writers in status Facebook, and also expected to give very significant contribution for many people to enrich their style and communication that they can use a language style in status Facebook. However, this research can hopefully give a benefit in the field of sociolinguistics. The assumption is based on this study, research can make an assumption most of user Facebook use some language style that is too often and their status it's a bit feel boring and for the readers. And definition of key terms. First one is language style. There are two types of variations in language style. First, variation according to the user, defined by variables such as social background, geography, sex, and age. And the second one is uh, in the sense that each speaker has a range of varieties and choice between them different types. The variation is called style. Language style is a range of varieties and choice between one speaker to another speaker at different times. The use of style depends on social context, relationship of participants, social class, sex, age, physical environment, and topic of the event. According to the JOS, there are five language styles. That one there is frozen style, formal style, consultative style, casual styles, and intimate styles. And second one is analysis. Based on Strauss and Corbin, 1990, an analysis begins with identification of the opening of the terms emerging from the raw data. Process sometimes referred as open coding. This is mean analysis is a way to find out something based on process and the results of the data that has been obtained. In this case, language style analysis is the identification of which kind of language style the Facebook teenagers when writing the status. And the third one is Facebook. Facebook is a website designed for communication purpose between friends, family, college, and Facebook created by students of Harvard University in 2004 and only used for Harvard community. Gradually, Facebook began supporting other colleges and universities and eventually was available to anyone who was an edu email address. So, methodology of the research. First is research design. In this research, the researchers use a descriptive method. The descriptive qualitative design was chosen because the fact that the study deals with language phenomenon as the element culture. The findings will be described in the form of words and no treatment with the object of study. Qualitative is natural setting, which means researchers do not any, do not do anything with the object of the study. The researchers just find out why the phenomenon happens. And source of the data, this data of the study is 66 Facebookers, which contain of 30 of male and 30 female. The participants are 22 until 26 years old because the young adults usually can think more rationally and stable rather than teenagers. Instrument of the research. According to the Himalayas Senoputra, instrument is a tool thing that is by researchers to collect the data from sample, informant, or object of research. And to collect and analyze the data of the researchers use document study. Data collection technique. The researchers take some steps to get the data in this research. They are following. First is the researchers ask permission to request permission from the account owner, that is Facebook status will be used as a data material. Second is the researchers made a transcript of the Facebook status. The third is researchers identified the type of the Facebook status. Then researchers classify the type and the reasons of language style used theories. And last is the researchers interview the users in order to support the data. It is also to elicit information about the reason of using that language style and to get more detailed information. Data analysis technique. After collecting the data from the researchers' friend in Facebook, the researchers did several steps to analyze the data. Firstly, the researchers categorized the data with accordance with the kind of language style based on the Juice theory. Secondly, interpreted and then describe the data from each category. Then thirdly, identify the type and the reason style used in those status, counting the most dominant kind used. Finally, researchers made a conclusion based on the research finding. Chapter 2, Review of Related Literature. 2.1 Language Style. Chaika 1982 states that language style is the way people use language in communicating, both spoken and written language. Style of language actually refers to choosing a linguistic form to convey a social or artistic effect. Style also acts as a set of instructions. We manipulate others in style, even we ourselves are manipulated both consciously and unconsciously. From the above statement, we understand that style is the way people convey ideas or message. Ideas or message will be more easily accepted if we already know the condition and style used by the speaker or author. And Romain 1994 argues that style not only performs some of the same linguistic features in regional and social dialect differentiation patterns but also show correlation with other factors. From Roman's statement above, it is clear that style display correlation between social factors and the language used by the community. This means that people can predict what communication styles that they will use in communicating according to the current situation. In addition, Giles and Powers-Land, Giles and Sinclair, in Thomas and Waring, states that people may use different styles in the way they speak depending on the situation and the context they are talking about. So, according to the above statement, the use of language style occurs during conversation depending on the situation and context being discussed. It is used to make listeners and readers understand. Language style is in a communication focus more on the intended social message research rather than getting the communication message. So, in conclusion, language style is the way people manipulate other people and control their interaction, conveying messages or ideas conveyed in words and tone of voice. The characteristics of language style are the selection and choice, the language form that arise from a person or group of people. And 2.1.1 Type of language style. Snyder and Valek, Rand and Austin states the stylistic operation depends on the environment in which message is present. The language style used in the upper class environment is different from the style used in the lower class environment. Environment also refers to the other stratifications such as gender, age, and other social status. So, just in Cher and Agustina, 1995, divides the variety of language into 5 styles. They are Freudian style, formal style, consultative style, casual styles, and intimated styles. Freudian style is the most formal language. It is used in the special occasion, formal ceremonies, in the written text. It can be a document, history, laws, and formal styles. Formal style is the formal language style that commonly used in formal speech, official meeting, formal meeting of directors in some organization. Consultative style is the operational language style that is usually used in school, factory, and corporation meeting. Casual style is the casual language variety in conversation, recreation, sport, session. Intimate style is the language variety which is used among family or friends. And 2.1.2 The function of language style. The function of language style, furthermore, Shaika 1982 states that using a style that is carried along with greetings and conversational makes such more efficient than having to encode the information outsider or continuously during the conversation. But the 1994 defines the stylistic function as first to increase the reader's taste, second to persuade readers, third to add the artistic effect of the ideas offered by the author, fourth to clarify the author's idea, and the last is to create a certain mood. 2.2 Language and social network. In fact, the researchers will be looking upon the function of language and social media and the performance of men and women in linguistic behavior, which is used to identify the different speech style between men and women. Besides this study focus on investigating Facebook, a social media that has significantly infiltrated in the society and language. The scope of linguistic behavior will be shaped by social and cultural change. And Facebook nowadays, there is a lot of new social networks such as Facebook, Flickr, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook is one online social networking service launched in February 2004, operated and privately owned by Facebook Inc. Incorporation. Facebook was founded by Mark Elliott Zuckerberg, or well known as Mark Zuckerberg, an innovative young programmer from Harvard University who was born in Dobbs Ferry, New York on May 14, 1984. He developed Facebook together with his college roommate Eduardo Severin, Dustin Markovich, and Chris Hughes. Facebook has some benefits such as a clean layout, group photo album, selling feature, even reminder photo tagging, and games. By using Facebook, you have to obey to some regulation in communication, such as you will not send out otherwise post on unauthorized commercial communication, such as spam on Facebook. 2. You will not post that is hateful, threatening, or pornographic, incites violence, or contains nudity or graph of gratuitous violence. You will not to use Facebook to do anything unlawful, misleading, malicious, or discriminatory. And that's my presentation. Sorry for having a bad bad voice because of my sickness, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.